There it is. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Glenn Lawrence. I am back with another episode of the Blurred Dad Podcast, a space where we like to have unfiltered conversations and nerd out about fatherhood. We are on season 3 and we are ripping and running. We had a great episode last week talking to my boy David Bencourt from formerly from the Washington Post, currently writing comics for Marvel. And that was a fun time, man. That was a great time. Go back, check out that episode. Where am I at now? I don't want to get too much what's going on in my life because it's in shambles. Not really my life, but the Philadelphia Eagles, which whenever they're in shambles, it feels like my life is in shambles. So I don't really want to get into how I've been doing because I've been doing terrible if you've been watching. It was a monumental crumbling of the team, and it's upsetting. If you want to check out my social media, you'll see a full rant on there, me talking about the problems and what happened and just everything that went wrong, being very, very upset and incensed by it. But we're not going to talk about that because we got good things to talk about. We got some great insight today from an amazing guest. I will be talking with Ralph Cooper. He is incredible. He changed the DC comedy scene when he was here, when he was in it. He ran one of the most electric, amazing open mics in the city. And it was incredible. It was called RFD. It was renowned. It was selected by Google as one of their first live comedy streams on their new platform, Google Plus. Now that did not last, but the legacy definitely lasted for RFD. It was incredible. People still talk about it to this day. He is also one of the producers of Roy Wood Jr.'s podcast, Roy's Job Fair. He's got quick wit, infectious silliness, and double bass voice, and it's captivated audiences from comedy clubs to fast food joints all over the country. He's a graduate of Morehouse College. He launches career in media at National Public Radio, and he's been recognized for just being one of the premier stand-ups in his class. He's toured clubs all over the U.S. and Canada. He loves Arsenal. He's a Gooner, I guess is what they say. I don't know what that means, but there's a name for being an Arsenal fan. He's a Gooner. He's been featured on Comedy Central, CBS, Sirius XM, Washington Post, and he's also a proud father. And he has a family that, they say that they are the coolest Black family in America, and I don't doubt it because they're amazing. Actually, hold on, wait. That was said by Ebony Magazine that they're the coolest Black family in America. That wasn't even just self-proclaimed. That's real life stuff, man. So we're going to be talking to him. That's going to be an amazing, great time. But before we do that, please let me talk about our sponsors. Our sponsors are theymademewear.it. They're amazing. They're a husband and wife team, and they are on a mission to help dogs discover their fashionable side. So whether it is a awesome Halloween costume, adorable dress, comfy jammies, or a custom designer gown, your fur baby will love wearing the latest fashions. I'm telling you, you got to check them out. Also, when you're shopping, you should know that a portion of your proceeds, a portion of the money that you spend on this amazing attire goes to Hope for Paws, which is an animal rescue organization that works tirelessly to save the lives of abandoned animals, getting these animals off the mean streets, doing good in the world, all while making your pet look amazing. I don't know what you're waiting for. You should check out theymademewear.it. Use code word blurred for 15% off checkout. Yeah, that's a good time. Listen, it's season 3, and we are making sure things are on and popping here. You know what I'm saying? We're doing great things here. And we're getting into things. We're not messing around anymore. Okay, this is serious business. Season 3 is serious business. This is where things take a serious turn. Okay, and because of that, we're just jumping right into it. There's no more fluff, no more guff. I'm going to bring in my homie, the big homie, Mr. Ralph Cooper. What's happening, baby?
What do?
What's up, man? How you been, bro?
Oh man, chilling, bro. I'm doing all right. Enjoying the fact that I made a great call at the beginning of this football season. You want to talk about it?
what was your call?
Well, see, Glenn, for years I grew up as a proud Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh,
but Jerry Jones's karma and antics, and the fact that we had a black quarterback that I'm supposed to believe in, but he went to Mississippi State. Like how you supposed to believe in a black man that went to Mississippi State for anything? Like that's not supposed to be. That's Motisa College. My point is, yeah, I said it. But the point is, for years I've been a Dallas fan, but this year I decided it was hard for me to wear the gear in public, and it's on my Facebook. You can check it. I said at the beginning of the season that I was shifting my loyalties this year. I was
Who'd you shift to?
going to celebrate the Cowboys. I shifted to the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow, what a trade up in terms of fandom, bro. Congratulations.
You know why? You know why I changed
Why?
it? Because for the first time in NFL history, the Baltimore Ravens are the only team in the NFL to have an all-black quarterback core. Starting quarterback, backup quarterback, tertiary quarterback coach, quarterback, corporate coach. Everybody at the Ravens as a quarterback is black, and that's never happened before.
Hey,
and
listen,
so I supported that.
That's a ding ding, because you did the right thing there, and you made a great choice, bro. That was the winner's ding.
Plus, after last weekend, watching Dallas fucking like just fall apart and shit, I felt so justified in everything that I've been saying. Now, I'd like to take this moment to apologize to all of the NFC East fans I absolutely ribbed the shit out of this year, who also like inferior teams such as the Commander Skins, the Giants, and what's that team you like?
The Eagles.
Yeah, those guys.
On their name.
Those guys. Yeah.
Even though this is the Eagles season. At the end of the season, this is the Eagles season.
So what? It was the Cowboys season too.
That was the
Cowboys season too, wasn't it? Wasn't it the Cowboys season? Everything I saw said it was the Cowboys season.
But the Eagles lost. Listen, the Eagles had all those wins, and then they played the Niners, and
now they're sitting at home.
they got the rings knocked out of them.
they sitting at home watching your podcast. What they doing at home?
I hope so. Hey, if
Jalen Hurts and Dak.
Any Philadelphia Eagle who wants to come on the podcast, please come on. We'll talk about parenting. We ain't even going to talk about how y'all monumentally failed this season. It's all in my rant. I just had like a 7-minute rant about how upset I was about this damn team, and I'm about to post it on Instagram and stuff like that, because I was so upset. And I feel like
7 minutes really enough to express how upsetting it is to be an Eagles fan your entire life. It can't be.
Entire life. Let's calm down. There's been a lot of great ups and downs. Okay.
Mainly downs. It's a lot of downs. It's a lot of downs.
No. Recently, no. In my later years,
y'all won a Super Bowl and killed a horse.
Yeah, listen.
You killed a horse.
In my adult years, we've had way more ups than downs. Only one team can win a Super Bowl. Okay.
They kill a horse.
We did a lot of things. But listen, here's the deal. I've never had to switch up my allegiance. Okay, it's never been that bad. So
that is fair. That is fair. I mean?
Listen,
that is fair.
It'll be easy for me if I could jump ship, Ralph.
Philly has been equally racist for years. So they hate the white quarterback as much as the black quarterback. Any place that throws batteries at Jesus. That was Santa Claus. It was Santa Claus, but same thing. It sounds better with Jesus.
Don't mix up Jesus and Santa Claus, bro.
Depending on who you talk to in this age and era, it's the same thing. Have you spoken to your kids lately? Like, they don't.
By the way,
they don't care. They don't care.
Wait, Christmas season just ended. What did you do about Santa Claus? Did you tell your kids about Santa Claus, or did you not do the Santa Claus thing? Because I have feelings. I have thoughts both ways. What was your thing about Santa Claus?
My children, my son is 11 and my daughter is 17. So I told my kids, if they catch a fat white man, that's not me, or a fat black man, that's not me, sneaking down the chimney, the gun is in the kitchen, shoot that motherfucker. That's what I told my kids.
How could they have caught a fat white man that was you?
Hey, man, it's a new world, man. They got computer graphics and shit. You know what I'm saying? AI version of me walk through the house. I don't know.
If you got that stuff that Michael Jackson got, you could be a fat white man.
I've told my children repeatedly ways to figure out if it is a drone or a copy of me. Like I've told my children, if I walk in the house wearing all Chicago Bulls gear, shoot me immediately. That's not daddy. If I come in the house and I'm wearing any combination of Redskins colors, not daddy. And I ain't say Commanders. I said the truth. Redskin color. If I come in the house and I'm wearing that shit, if you see me on TV at an Atlanta Braves baseball game doing this, it is an imposter. I'm not doing that. I'm a Blaze fan, but I am very embarrassed every time you do this shit. I can't stand it. I hate it, but I also hate white people dancing on TikTok. So there's certain things that my kids just know. If it's dad, we can be able to say certain things or do certain things, but you got to tell them because they don't be knowing this shit. They watch too many movies.
But so you told him Santa's not real from
Oh
jump.
yeah. Oh, from the jump. Well, yeah, we waited a while, but then like my daughter kind of ruined it for my son. That's what two kids do. Like my son was really for a minute like, ooh, dad, Santa Claus, yay. And you know, my daughter waited for us to leave the room. Was like, he's not real. He's not real. That's what my daughter does. My daughter's a dream crusher. I love her dearly, but she crushes dreams. That's what.
So how old was she when she figured it out?
I would say she was young, but Jay has always been really Jay is not easily fooled when it comes to that holiday shit. Like that's just not that she's never been that. Like she didn't believe in the Easter bunny. She just knew that she got chocolate. Like she, you know what I mean? Like she didn't necessarily believe in Santa Claus. She just knows, oh, this is present time because there's snow on the ground. Right, so like that's that's the way the kids think about it. They weren't as duped as our generation, man. We were duped as a generation. We were fucking duped. Think about it, man. All the television was network. It was a point you must watch TV, right? Right. So how many times did you sit down and watch something and then all of a sudden the fucking screen starts spinning in the drum, doom, 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 and it's a special. Oh, we're showing you Charlie Brown's Christmas special for the 90th time in like 80 years, but you didn't have a choice.
Yeah, and that's all you will watch.
That's all you watch. And if you turn the channel, it was some bullshit like Dynasty or Dallas, and you were too young to really get into that shit at the time. I was too young. How about that?
I have a bit talking about it that I've been working on, which is basically, and I'll share it with the people, the listeners currently. But it's basically like that. Like everybody's all confused about why there's so many conspiracy theorists nowadays. It's like you started us off early. You told us that a man could fly around the world and deliver presents all over the world, and you just created all these skeptical kids who were like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound real. And we started investigating for the truth, and then you made a whole bunch of Santa truthers out there, and now you're wondering why there's so many people who are skeptical of the established narrative. You know what I'm saying?
I absolutely blame everyone who had anything to do with educating my generation, and that means anyone who was born right before 1980 and back, like 1979, 76. We had special shit going through school because there was a lot of experimental hippie motherfuckers that made it through, and so they were letting us do shit. You know what I'm saying? To find ourselves and have these deep thoughts and shit. And you know what I'm saying? Like my parents, I was a Shakespeare scholar, bro. My parents had me. I saw Larry Fishburne and Avery Johnson both play Othello because that's how much I was into it, right?
Right.
But then I come home and my parents are like, ooh, let's take you to go see this play. It's called Mama Got a Good. It's by Medea. It's got Medea in it. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? How? But Shakespeare. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the difference. Like, there's a whole side now where it's just like you could be learned and nerdy and shit, but nobody wants that anymore. We don't want you to be smart.
You know, it is interesting. Like right around that time when I won't say it, there was just like a shift in the quality of what art and literature was. And I'm not saying it's for the good or the bad, but it definitely was a shift where it opened up more. But I feel like it was like eye-opening to say, oh, this could be art too, and these people could do art too. And you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be as top-notch, which nowadays I look at TV and I'm just like, damn, can't we get back to the excellence that we used to have before?
You know what I think about Christmas, bro? You know what I think about Christmas? I think about coming home to my parents. And if they ever see this whatsoever, I love you dearly. But I'm just gonna be really honest. You know what I hate about Christmas, bro, when I see my parents?
What?
That is the one time of year I am forced to watch BET. I watch all the BET I'm gonna watch for the whole fucking year. Whenever I go to my parents' house for Christmas, it is just on. And it's just like, yo, y'all know I hate this shit. Like it makes my skin crawl. Don't like it. Okay. But I grew up in a generation of black folks that feel like, oh, we grew up when there was no black people on TV. Like, no black people on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to celebrate things like BET. Who cares that the writing is mediocre? Who cares that the acting is bad? Who cares if you see a boom mic, you know what I'm saying, just float into the screen? Like, nobody cares, you know what I'm saying? It's okay because it's black people. And the whole time I'm like, but can't we do better?
Well, you know what though? Like, I feel back in the day, it was excellent. It was like back in the day when it first started. I think there was a moment. I'm thinking about the Comic View days and everything. Like when you tune into it, there was like an excellence to it.
So let me back you up. Let me back you up because I'm slightly older, right? Because you said the Comic View days, right? Mm-hmm. Nigga, I remember Video Soul when it was Sherry Walker and Donnie Simpson. All right. Yeah. I remember Rap City when it was Chris Thomas, then it was Joe Claire, then it was Bum Ass Tigger. Like, so what I'm saying is there was a time where you are absolutely correct. There was excellence. There was a time on BET when they didn't show titties unless it was a certain time. They didn't show guns. They used to blur all the guns and shit out the video. And if your song was too violent, they wouldn't play it on Rap City. Mm-hmm. There was a time on BET when they were truly about hip hop culture. Shout out Mos Def. There was a time when they were truly about hip hop culture. And if you were a real MC, there was a possibility that Joe Claire was going to eat your fucking lunch in the basement. Because Joe Claire could flow. And like, you know what I'm saying? Joe would come on there and murder that. Joe Cleasy. Shout out Joe Cleasy, looking good on Channel 5 up there. I was proud of you when I came home.
Joe Cleasy. I did get to do his show one time, which was great. But Joe that Cleasy actually does bring up a point that I definitely wanted to pick your brain about because you are a hip hop head. And you know, recently Mos Def had his interview where
shout out Mos Def, I love you.
Yeah, man, where he was talking about things. And first of all, he was asked the question. You know what I mean? He was asked the question. It was put in front of him, like what he thought about Drake. And I feel like he did a good job of answering it and like being honest and being truthful about what he thought it was. And I feel like people try to turn it as something negative, but when you make the choice to be commercial, like that's what it is.
When you make the choice to be a Drake fan, you also cry when you masturbate. Look, all I'm saying is that my man was right, okay? Like, yes, Drake is music that you play when you go walking through Target trying to figure out whether or not you should buy these underwear because they're, 100% cotton. Like, yes, he's correct. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying it for years, and it just made me happy that somebody like a Mos Def, very nicely, I might add, basically said Drake is trash. And I'm cool with that shit. Like, you said Drake is trash. He didn't say Drake is trash. Like, because I know people are very particular about the words that they use when they talk nowadays.
Right.
When I put Mos Def's statement in Google Translate, it came back with 3 words. Drake be trash. That's what it said. It was 3 words. It wasn't even grammatically correct. It just came back as a translation. Drake be trash. That's what it said. Swear to God.
But here's
I use a Fox News algorithm. This shit was cool as fuck, bro.
Here's what I thought about the thing, right? So that's what you thought. You thought you're hearing exactly Drake is trash. But here's what I thought. I thought what he's saying is basically what it is. Like Drake's music is kind of like it's commercial. It's hey, buy shit. Hey, I've bought shit. Hey, I make money so I could buy more stuff. And if y'all keep buying these records, I'll continue to buy stuff. Maybe I'll give y'all some money so you can buy stuff too. And everybody can continue buying stuff because that's how we make the world go round. As a matter of fact, when 9/11 happened, that is how we continued the country being great and sticking together. We just kept buying stuff. We're going to keep buying stuff. Why don't we keep buying stuff? Because buying stuff is how we continue to make things great in this nation of ours. Now,
I think that's
with that being said, with that being said, that is a choice that you make in your music. I think it's interesting because Mos Def comes from an era where what hip hop was, hey, we have a voice and we need to get out our stories so people can understand where we're coming from so we could make change. And that is different than, hey, let's buy stuff. So when you have those two things in juxtaposition, the people who are like, yeah, tell your story so we can make change are probably not the same people who are like, I just want to buy stuff. And the kids who have come up in this world where you don't really need to make change because things are fairly comfortable are like, no, I just want to listen to the buy stuff things. I don't want to think about the harshness of the world. And us who come from somewhere else where we know how it could be different, how things could be much more difficult, like, nah, we need that change music to make things change in the world. And there's two worlds that are going back and forth in terms of this hip hop shit. That's my take on it.
What was your major in college, Glenn? Was it PR?
No, it actually, yeah, well, it was media
It
production.
was media production. So you took a couple PR classes, didn't you?
Yeah, I took a little bit.
When we get off this PR, when we get off this here podcast, I need you to call whoever your PR professor is and tell them thank you. You are excellent at spin, sir. I think what you just said. No, that was brilliant. I thought so because really, all I heard him say was Drake be trash. I can't. I know that he might have said something way more. What's the word I'm looking for? Poignant. Articulate.
Yeah.
And poignant, as you just put it. But yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah. Do you know how hard it is for me to listen to the problems of a light-skinned, rich Canadian nigga? Do you realize how hard it is for me to hear this nigga sad-ass problems? You don't got sad-ass problems. You ain't got no problem. You a Canadian nigga who got kids you can pay for. You on that 50-cent shit. Have a baby by me, billion millionaire. I ain't even got to raise this nigga.
He's like, yo, I used to be in a wheelchair.
We live in a world where we smoke weed that's made by Steve Urkel and take fucking Love It price from Wheelchair Jimmy. Make sense of it.
Make
sense of it.
But it is kind of interesting though how like we did take that as like, okay, you know, he's like an entry into I'm hard or whatever. Which is this is an interesting thing that I've always wondered because are you into the battle rap scene too?
A little bit. I
talked to my boy who's like a battle rapper or whatever, and we were talking about high school and whatnot. And I'm just looking at the battle rap scene, and the thing that I keep seeing with the battle rap scene is like, all I hear is, I am going to make a bar that talks about gunplay, and it's going to be really clever. And I'm like, how many
I'm going to shoot you with these 2 tools because my mom Dukes is on my nuts. But when I pull out my shotgun, I bust a girl in the butt. Oh!
But I saw a few of them who didn't take that tack. One of them, I forget who it was. I wish I knew who it was, but he broke the dude down in like a very professorial way, talking about how his father like didn't do things for him, which made him go searching for, you know what I'm saying? Go searching for father figures and other things is why he's out here doing things, and he needs to get his life together. And I was like, yo, listen, that is a better breakdown than I'm gonna find you with my Uzi and shoot you in a jacuzzi type. You know what I mean? Like that was real to me. And I was like, yo, that is vicious because you actually got to this person's soul. And I'm like, I want to see more of that in battle rap. And in general, I want rap to be more accurate and real and lifelike, but not like, you know what I'm saying, like all these niggas who found themselves in RICO cases. Like, please don't make it that lifelike. Don't make it that lifelike. That's
not only finding themselves in RICO cases, but being persecuted by a black DA, but that's a whole nother thing. So like I not only do I agree with you, homie, but with a lot of this stuff, man, I want the bars to come back to the radio. I want bars you be turning on the radio and they'll play the song because there's actual bars. But I realize that we grew up in an era of bars, and like nowadays it ain't the same. Like think about it. Some of the great beefs in hip hop we heard. We were I was there. I remember Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J, for example, and that's one of the oldest beefs there is. I remember Ice Cube and Common, and it literally was a war of words. It was not a, like Common, I'm from Chicago, I'm gonna get these vice lords and these GDs to form up, and we're gonna ride on California. Like it was never that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was bars. Like as far as
remember Cannabis and LL Cool J, and everybody was like, Cannabis is nice, and then LL just like ended his career.
Well, I mean, shit. While you talk about battle rappers, shout out my man Columbo Black out on the West Coast, because I went to school with him, and when I went to school with the dude, he was a hooper. I've never knew him to rap, but here we are, some 20 years out of school, and this dude is so nice with the battle rap that Cannabis made a whole like song about my man, just dissing my man.
Oh wow,
he's that nice. But the battle scene, you're right. Like the battle scene has definitely turned more into like, for lack of a better word, like Wild 'N Out with guns. You know what I mean? It's like that segment in Wild 'N Out and everybody gets up there and just talk about how they gonna shoot you or how they gonna dump
Imaginary
this
guns.
in you. Right.
Imaginary guns. Not real
But
guns. Imaginary
right.
guns.
But like, can't our metaphors be better? I'll put it like this, and I know we're joking, kind of joking, but it's kind of like, golly, fuck. I just turned 48 years old, bro. We just celebrated hip hop at 50.
Yeah.
I turned 48 years old. So technically,
48 years young.
I am technically, realistically, a full-blown child of hip hop. I am one. And I can remember how my parents didn't necessarily know how to really navigate the waters when it came to like buying me music or, what songs I could listen to. And then after a while, they just kind of gave up. But, now I'm raising kids and I can see the effect that hip hop by and large is having on my kids and the way that I'm raising them. You know what I
Current
mean?
hip hop or like the past hip hop that you introduced them to?
Oh, absolutely, current and both. I think of like my daughter is without question a child of 90s hip hop. Like I don't even know if she could hear me, and if she can, she'll probably run downstairs and say something. But I am steadily impressed with the number of 90s hip hop t-shirts my daughter wears to school on a daily basis. Like, and I'm talking about they look like they were made in 92 type shit, like Biggie shirts, Old Dirty Bastards. She got a whole bunch of Ice Cube and NWA shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like her whole repertoire damn near is like 90s hip hop t-shirts. And it's pretty dope. And it definitely comes from, me and her mom sitting around, her mom's is way more of a head, I would definitely say, than I am sometimes when it comes to hip hop. Like I'm a huge hip hop head, but I also like house. I also like drum and bass. I also like, all that shit.
I'm gonna be real with you. You just gave me an idea. I'm going to have to just spend time like, okay, now is daddy son time, and today we're listening to Equimini. You know what I mean? Or
real
we
talk.
got to take it back to the basics where I just listen to an entire album with him, and we just sit, whether you want to or not, we're sitting and listening to an entire album.
Let me give you one, B. Real talk. Something that really, really happened. It's crazy you say it just like that. So, Kylie, what's the game? I want to say it's a Need for Speed. It might be where they have like an old school hip hop channel and like it plays everything from DJ Quick.
GTA, maybe?
No, because I don't allow my kids. See, that's the other thing. I am a blurred video game playing as beta testing dad parent. So there's certain games I will allow them to play. I'll allow Ralph to play it. I won't say jack shit about it. There are other games where I'm like, if I don't play it, you don't play it. In GTA, you can't play it.
Okay.
You can't play GTA. Any game where you got to learn about fucking a hooker to get energy and you still a virgin, I'm not letting you play.
That makes sense. All right, sorry. Back to your point.
But my point is, with Need for Speed, it has this old hip hop channel, right? And they play like it's pretty dope, but it's a fast game, so the hip hop is, kind of up to speed, whatever. So keep that in mind. I guess going on about 2 years ago, my family, my wife, my daughter, my son, all of us, we got some great family friends of ours up here in New Jersey. Shout out Felix Natal, that's my homie. Felix Natal Jr., hell of a photographer, great fucking person. I went and played golf with him, but we Felix has this wonderful studio in New Jersey called Media City, and it's just like he's a photographer. He's done everybody in hip hop you could possibly name, and like the studio is it's like this crazy room. It's laid out with like pop figures and like graffiti. It's really dope. So they threw this karaoke sip and paint party, right? And at the karaoke sip and paint party, my family on the way in, because we weren't even going. Matter of fact, Felix and them suckered us into it because we went over to see Felix and them at their house, and they suckered us into going to the studio because we weren't going. As a family, we were like, that sounds corny as fuck. Well, at least I thought as a family, we were like, that sounds corny. How the fuck you gonna sit and paint? Like, what the fuck? And karaoke? That shit don't make sense. Like, it's just too much to do. But in the car, we have a whole discussion. Look, we're going to support. We're going to stay here for like 15, 20 minutes, and then we're out. We're gone. Well, what do you know? We get in there, and although I'm not into karaoke, you know what I am into? Legal New Jersey weed. So there were some people there who also had record labels. You know what I'm saying, Glenn? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got the next big one coming out. And they all tend to look like they're very, I'm going to use the word irascible gentlemen. So, thank you, sir. So
that's a good one.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. As I'm standing around these brothers, enjoying some of New Jersey's finest and, dark places because, want to be away from the kids and everything. I come back into my son looking for me. He says, Dad, I just did karaoke for the first time. You did what?
What?
Didn't we just talk about this shit in the car? What do you mean you did karaoke? I know you gonna expect the rest of us to do this shit. He said, no, I did Michael Jackson. I did Smooth Criminal. You did what? Wow. I was like, I didn't know you knew the words. He was like, well, the words were on the screen. So I was like, oh, all right. He said, I think I'm going to go again, but this time I think I'm going to do Uptown Funk by Naughty by Nature. I said, Ralph, don't you mean Uptown Anthem by Bruno Mars? Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. Uptown Anthem is by Naughty by Nature, but Uptown Funk is Bruno Mars. He goes, oh, thank you, and runs off. And me and the dudes are all standing around laughing like, yo, he don't know the difference between Bruno Mars and motherfucking Naughty by Nature. Like, we were laughing. Dude, all of a sudden you hear boom, 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 boom. And all of us, I'm in Jersey, bro. All of us. You hear that shit?
Yeah, right. Double take.
Yo, next thing you know, everybody rushes into the main room to walk in and hear Ralph. You can catch a spliff with a gift, but you still will catch it high enough or nice enough to touch the naughty, nasty, nasty, never do. Now, how do I know the song? Because I grew up with it. How do I know the song? Because I play video games, and sometimes in the background of Need for Speed, that song plays. No time did I think about how much Need for Speed my son plays and how much that song is ingrained in his brain.
Wow.
How ingrained was it, Glenn? As we walk into the room and realize that he is doing this fucking song, we look at the fucking wall, right? Because it was a big video wall.
Yeah.
And realize that there's no words.
He's just going off the heart.
Ralph did that shit off heart. Like, bro, I still got the video. And it's like, it gave me every daddy tear I've ever had in my life.
Wait, how was the stage presence? How was the stage?
Oh, bro, he was like, I have video. I will send it to you. Ralph was,
he
was in it, bro. Like, he was in it. And like it was an ill moment. We all laughed about it. Now,
that's amazing.
Here's the fun part. Last year, my wife, we have had the wonderful honor and privilege of befriending the Robinsons over the last year. Janet and Mick, they're wonderful people. Janet's father is a guy you might have heard of by the name of Ernest Dickerson, created a small movie by the name of Juice.
Yeah.
And they did a tribute to Juice last year. Now, I guess it's last year. They did a tribute to Juice where they brought Mr. Dickerson in and cast members from Juice. So I see Treach and I basically grabbed Treach like, yo, hey, man, look, I'm a huge fan of Naughty by Nature. I'm a huge fan of yours. My kids, matter of fact, look, hey, man, my kid, fuck it. Can I show you something right quick? And he was like, okay, sure. And so, by the way, Treach is a muscular guy, but you're taller than Treach. So, like, Treach and I move off into the corner, and I pull out my phone, and I was like, look, man, we went to this karaoke thing last year, and my son surprised us. He did some shit. Man, fuck it. Just watch this. So Treach literally takes my phone from my hand, Glenn, and is watching the video. And before I can say it, Treach goes, yo, there's no words on the wall, B. There's no fucking words on the fucking wall. And people are walking by and like, yo, Treach. He's like, no, yo, y'all see this shit? Yo, look at this shit. Yo, this kid is killing this shit. Like, Shorty's killing. He was like, call your son. I was like, what? He's like, call your son. Okay. So I called my son for Treach to get on the phone and be like, yo, what's your name, B? He told him his little hip hop name. He was like, where you from? He was like, I'm from Virginia. He was like, nah, B. Rhyming like that. You from Jersey, B. You from Jersey, B. It was one of the coolest fucking moments, B. It was a cool moment.
He became an honorary Jerseyan.
Yo, B. Like, and it's crazy because, like, on some real shit, on some hip hop shit, my son was definitely, like, you talk about the hip hop then versus now, right? And, like, my son is really into the new shit. He's in the drill, New York drill, Chicago drill. He knows all the little artists that have all been killed under the age of 21. He got really upset, and it's due to him. I actually understand a lot more about drill now because I'm old, so I come in understanding UK drill. I remember when people were before SoundCloud. I remember when people were making music using a PlayStation 1 hooked up to a pair of speakers and shit. Like, that's where early drill music came from.
Mm.
And I remember that shit. And like now, you know how you're an Eagles fan, that's right. You know how the boy does the
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
the naughty bop. That's what it's called, the naughty bop. That's what that
Mhm.
is. That's from, it comes from Jersey House.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know that dance is actually mocking a kid getting stabbed?
I did not know that. Wow. What?
So
What?
again, this on this hip hop shit, B. So my son, I like any parent, I'm going to definitely say that. Like any parent, if you see that your kid is into something and you can try to touch the periphery, you'll fuck with it. I don't care who you are. And so I like hip hop. I know my son likes this drill stuff, and you know, my first instinct is drill shit might as well be Drake. I'm not listening to that shit. It's
Mhm.
trash. I'm not fucking with it. But I really noticed that he was into it. So there's a group out of New York called 4-1. They're out of Brownsville. 4-1 something. I can't remember exactly what you call them, but the kids in the streets call them 4-1.
Wait, first before you go that, get back to it. But what is drill? Does that like stand for something? Or what is drill? Because I'm old,
So
I have no idea. What does drill mean?
so
Like
drill
it
music.
took me a while to figure out what trap music was. Like,
Okay, so trap is basically drill in the States is trap's faster cousin.
okay, but what doesn't
Um,
drill or trap? Like in my mind, drill had to do with when you're trying to take out ops or like you have to assault somebody, and trap was about selling dope. You know, like
okay,
isn't that
so
am I breaking it down to the essence of what those are? Am I
nah.
incorrect?
Both of them about selling dope. Trap is definitely more about being in a certain place selling dope, whereas drill could be everything from selling dope to making fun of somebody doing something stupid, making fun of each other, or making fun of somebody getting killed. Like the level and the bar for which they discuss things in drill is it's a different game. Like it's not even close to the same as what
Okay.
we're used to. So 4-1 World, that's the name of the group. So I happen to be listening to Sirius satellite radio. I want to say I was listening to like Eminem's channel, maybe. I don't know.
Shade
No, it was definitely
45 or
Shade.
something.
It was definitely Shade 45.
Yeah,
And
Shade 45.
I want to say it was the Lord Sear mix. It was a Lord Sear mix on Shade 45. And my family song, for the record, the whole family song is Annie Up, the remix specifically,
Mm,
by MOP, Busta Rhymes, and Remy Ma. That's the family song. Like we all take parts of that shit like it's stepbrothers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
right. Everybody gets a
keep up,
piece.
what you doing? Like everybody gets a piece. Um and they're mixing this song, and then all of a sudden he goes from Annie Up into this drill song. Um, the drill song is called Run That. They sampled Annie Up into this drill song, and I don't really care what anybody. I think that shit is hard. It sounds really dope to me. I like it a lot, and me thinking that I discovered some shit, couldn't wait to get in the car with my kid, my son, and throw this song on. You know what I'm saying? So I could show him that dad was hip, dad was cool. Man, I throw on the damn song when I picked this boy up from school. First thing he was like, "What you know about that? Why are you listening to that?" And I was like, "Yo, I thought the song was good." He's like, "No," and he got really mad, like really upset. And I was like, "Okay, why would you get upset?" I don't like 4-1 World. And I
Oh
was like,
wow.
"What's wrong with 4-1?" A while ago, I guess I should have led with that. My son is in private school now.
Okay.
Last year around this time, in fact, it was right around my birthday this time, Ralph was in school, and we took him out and homeschooled him for half a year. We took him out and homeschooled him for half a year because Ralph wrote a rap song talking about this kid, Naughty, who got stabbed. And Naughty was a kid that was in this. In fact, he's got a brother, Didi Osama and Didi Naughty, right? These guys are both drill artists. Didi Naughty got stabbed. He was Naughty was doing some shit he shouldn't have been doing, number one. Like before it even gets
Wait,
deep.
I'm about to beep all this out because I don't need them in my mentions.
No. You're good. You're good. Both these guys are dead. It doesn't matter. All right. So like, Naughty went and did something he wasn't supposed to do, but they have the whole thing on videotape. So you see this kid Naughty going to stab somebody, and instead of Naughty stabbing the kid turned around and fucked Naughty up. So on the video, you see this kid go to be aggressive, right? But then you also see the other kid stab him, and when the other kid stabbed him, he went like that. So the kids from 4-1 World made a song called Naughty Bop. Wow. And a Naughty Bop is a song dissing this kid who got stabbed. Did I forget to mention he's 12 years old? Jeez. When my son heard this song, my son reacted viscerally. He was really upset. I remember it. But I didn't know jack shit about this stuff when it happened.
Dad was just trying to be cool. And
right. There you go. So when this happened, when the stabbing happens, Ralph was in a little rap group at his middle school at the time. And the kids, I guess, had talked however the fuck kids talk. And they had all decided they need to make a diss song on these kids who made this Naughty Bop song. Now, Ralph goes on and records this song. Glenn, the song was bad. Like, it was very bad. Like, to the point that he said something to his sister and her boyfriend at the time, and they both were like, no. Matter of fact, go on your school computer, delete this, and act like it never happened. This is bad. Don't do it. He came to me about it, and I was like, yo, I can see that you're proud that you made something, but your father has a name in these streets, son, and you can't go out there doing this shit. This is bad. Look, I will help you. You're off the beat. Your hook is all over the place. Like, I don't know what we could re-record this tomorrow. Like, this is not, but you need to get rid. But my son, being my son, you know what he heard? What? You know what my son heard? What? Y'all just don't believe in me. Y'all, I am more John Blake, and the world needs to hear this shit. So Ralph goes on his school computer and posts the song on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Against your and his sister's wishes.
Everybody's wishes. We didn't know he did it. So imagine our surprise the next day when the school calls us, and the principal at his old school, who's a horrible bitch, by the way, calls us and basically was like, you need to come here to school to pick up your son. We'll explain when you get here. It seemed that since they didn't know anything about hip hop and or drill music or any of that kind of shit, when one of the students, and I forget what grade the kid was in, but one of the students heard Ralph's little song on YouTube and got really upset and thought that Ralph was threatening his brother who was in Ralph's group because he didn't necessarily understand what Ralph was saying. And to be fair to the child, I didn't really understand what Ralph was saying. But the principal, in cold turn, decides that Ralph is making terroristic threats.
Wow.
Calls the fucking Piscataway police up to the school. And by the time I've gotten there, they have already pulled my child out of class, shaken him down, taken his book bag, threw all of his shit out of his book bag because the principal was like, I heard him say something about guns. And so we were trying to make sure that he wasn't bringing a gun to the school. And I was like, so have y'all not taught grammar yet? And she was like, well, what does that have to do with grammar? I said, so you didn't notice the bad iambic pentameter? You didn't notice the horrible onomatopoeia and use of similes? You didn't notice that? I said, ma'am, if you're not here to talk to me about bad hip hop, you better not be sitting up here trying to tell me my son is making terroristic threats. You don't even know my kid. I was like, it was a bad hip hop song. Now, if you want to talk to me about making a bad song, I'm all for it. You want to talk to me about him saying vulgar shit on a computer? I'm all for it. But you sitting up here right now telling me that you had the fucking cops search my kid because you think that he made terroristic threats means that my son, this is his last day in your fucking school, man. That means I cannot trust you to educate my child.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that's what ended up happening. That's what we're talking about. It was so real that the cops were like, yo, ma'am, he's got a point. If the kid's never been in trouble before, why would you go through all of this to prove a point?
But what did they look at the lyrics and figure out the lyrics, or what?
So as most knee-jerk shitty teachers do, or educators, as my dad will call them, she just heard a couple of curse words and made a decision that on the curse words and some of the strength of of how passionate he was delivering the rhyme, that he was threatening someone. Now, mind you, it was no different than any other hip hop song when you got a crew of dudes and maybe a girl in a group like the Fugees. The Fugees would have been like, why club, but Lauren, come on and bring it. You know what I'm saying? Or why Prize, come on, bring it. Like encouraging his people to come on. You know what
Like
I'm saying?
hop on the track, do
Yeah,
your
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what he was trying to say. He wasn't saying anything like, yeah, I'll fuck you up. He was like, come on and fuck up the track before I fuck you up. Like, but not on some old, like it was on some hip hop shit. It wasn't on some, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come to
Yeah.
school and physically put hands on you. It was like, and the lady refused to even partially understand that. That woman tried to tell me that my son had psychological problems, and that until he got a psychological evaluation from somebody that she deemed correct, he wouldn't be able to come back. And we were like, guess what? You don't have those letters behind your name to make that evaluation. Now, I do realize that you may talk to most parents who might be a little bit underprivileged or undereducated and may not necessarily understand how school systems work. But I come from a home where my wife's mother was a teacher. My mother was a teacher and an administrator, and I taught myself. So I kind of know how the shit goes when it comes to dealing with people's kids. And shout out to Rouse Old Elementary School. Because when they ran across things that they didn't necessarily understand, they every single time, instead of punishing him, they would call us in to try and understand it, because they
Right.
knew at the core Ralph was a good kid, but
Yeah.
they just didn't
What is
understand
going
shit.
on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time when this is easy. They called me down to Ralph's elementary school because they asked him to draw like pictures. Ralph was supposed to write out how he was feeling about certain situations or something, but instead he drew pictures. And one of the pictures that he drew looked like a stick figure person laying between two lines, right? And then it looked like some kind of coil or something around the kid, whatever. And they thought that Ralph was trying to tell them that he wanted to commit suicide. What are your biggest fears? That's what it was. And so he draws this weird picture, and they were like, what is that, Ralph? Like, they call me in thinking like, oh, we need to, like we need to be worried because that definitely looks like suicide. And the school psychologist is sitting there, and she's just like, but Ralph's not that kind of guy. I'm not thinking that he's doing suicide. But the picture it just looks so weird. And so I was like, yo, if I know my son like I know my son, Ralph's greatest fear is going out like Emmett Till, which is highly impossible. But we took Ralph to the African American Museum in DC, and he saw the Emmett Till thing, and it shook him. Then my mom sat down with him and watched Till. Then my mother-in-law sat down with him and watched the extended version short miniseries on TV. So for a minute, Ralph was absolutely mortified to look at white women in general. Like he literally like was going around like he
Wow.
wouldn't look because
Yeah.
he's seen these movies and seen this historical. Like if you go to the Smithsonian, Emmett Till is still in the fucking casket. So like, it's like it's a lot for shit. I'm 40 something. It was a lot for me to take. He wasn't even 10 yet. So like, when the principal and the counselor lady called Ralph down and asked Ralph what the picture was, like, and I had to explain to him what was going on. I was like, Ralph, what is that picture? Ralph said, real quick, that's Emmett Till. He said, my two biggest fears are getting eaten by sharks or dying with an air conditioning unit wrapped around me like Emmett Till did for looking at somebody.
Wow, that's crazy.
And both of those teachers broke the fuck down, like right there. Like they were like, we were thinking so many other things, and it was far from that.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. I don't know, from the
Hey man, it's real easy. It's real easy. It sounds like a lot, but it's not that dope. Let me tell you something. Simple. As a parent, you at some point need to go back to your mother and father, one way or another if you can, and that goes for everybody, not just you. If you have children, go back and for no reason whatsoever, especially if your parents are not the huggy, kissy type of shit, go up to your parents for no reason whatsoever and give them the biggest hug and kiss. Because there's no reason in the world that your ass should be here right now. You know why? Because parents don't know jack shit. I don't know shit. You don't know shit. And it's comforting. And when you get to a certain point, you're going to look back at your parents and you're going to be like, yo, I never understood why they did this shit. But then you'll find that you're doing the exact same shit. The exact same shit. Because in theory, you're kind of raising just another version of yourself as they were raising another version of themselves.
Yeah.
You can only do as much as you know. And I think one of the biggest things that we make a mistake of in general is we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make sure our kids turn out a certain way. Man, we ain't got no control over that shit whatsoever, bro.
That's so true, man. And right now,
No.
I feel like it's a very formative time in their years. Like when they're 2, 3, 4, really up till 5 or 6 or so, is really when you kind of form what the kid is going to be for like a large portion of their life. That's their
I disagree.
foundation.
I disagree highly. Matter of
Really?
fact, matter of fact, I would say the biggest mistake that we made when our kids was in that time was not really letting them be themselves more. We were fighting, trying to get them to do still like, and I think most people do, like, or just sit a certain way or talk a certain way. And you think by instilling that foundation early that they're going to do that. And that's because that's what you did. That's what I did. That's the way my parents, I felt, that's what I thought my parents did. The older my kids get, um, the more I realize that whatever their personality is going to be is less going to be shaped by me and more shaped by whatever experiences they have on a day-to-day basis. Because like you can't, you can only do so much. After a certain point, you can only teach so much, man.
But what I'm saying is not necessarily what I do to them to shape them by 4 or 5 or 6. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is those are the formative years, regardless of so if someone is making you do something and you're resisting it, that's what you're going to be up until when you're 5. That's the personality that's going to be imprinted on you from 5, and then on. You're going to carry that on. That's how you're going to go about it.
It
Regardless of like,
sounds right. It sounds right. It sounds very good. Again, your PR look on things, I think it's amazing.
wait,
But I promise
so
I promise
you
go ahead.
think that kids are like they drastically can alter what is imprinted from that 5, from when they're 5 or 6 or whatever, like from that age. All
I
that
can't.
foundation is what everything they're built on. So even if they're trying to change it, they're trying to change what that initial introduction to the world is.
It sounds good. Again, I agree with you. It sounds great. It really does. But in my personal experience, every time, and it's not just me, fortunately. Like my daughter hit a certain point where I would say that we finished each other's sentences right around the time she was like 9, 10, 11 years old. Finished each other's sentences. Like I make a joke about something, whether it was dark or not. Like even the jokes that I used to say on stage, the joke about her. I used to have a joke about her cussing at a playground, and my boy was so shocked that he just brought her home. That was a true story, but it was her inspiration, being like, "Daddy, that's funny. You should say that on stage. You're 6. What the fuck do you know about saying shit on stage?" Like, but she was in a certain level kind of simpatico with me for I thought years, and then quite fairly, and in no means disparagingly or in any kind of dissing way towards my daughter. Somewhere around 11 or 12 years old, she just started to change. Like,
Mhm.
it wasn't the, all right, what daddy said. Like, I don't care what daddy said. Like, all of a sudden it was a overnight. And it wasn't just towards me, it was towards my wife and the way that we thought that we had raised her to act. Um, some of it for the worse, some of it for the better, but it was still like shocking as fuck. Like it
Mm.
was like, where the fuck is this coming from? And with my son right now, he's in that range where he's 11 and 12, and he's changing like way deep. Like it is in his ill. Like I don't know where this nigga's gonna end up, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like Ralph is wearing a size 11, which is the same size shoe I wear, and
Yeah.
he's the second tallest person in the house. But he's at this school where I'm watching his brain. Like I'm watching him. I'm watching him accept that he can be smart and be social at the same time, and he's 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 far from where he was like even 2 years ago. He's not the same kid.
Hmm.
um I thought a lot like you, and again, I hope maybe that your experience is different than mine, but I felt like, we did the thing about, putting them on a schedule, making sure they went to bed at a certain time, don't let them watch certain movies, don't let them do this, don't let them do that. And the more that we told them no, the more we realized how much they really were our kids, because every time we told them no, just like we when we were kids, these little motherfuckers found out a way to go do it, and
Hmm.
we couldn't stop them. Like it's like shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then we sit back and be like, well, you know what, I probably would have did the same shit too when I was her age. And it's a weird, you kind of get to a point where, we're closer to the gray area, I would say, with my kids, and I've been for a long time. For a while, it was very much the do as I say, or you get in trouble. Then it went all the way to the other side of like extreme of I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just giving up. And now it's way closer to like here. And it took years, but there are friends of mine who had kids around the same age as my daughter and my son, who I looked at as young men and young women that were just so innocent and just so, precious and this, that, and the other. One of the kids, and I ain't gonna put him out there like that, but let's just say one of the kids might have been taking pictures on his phone in a women's bathroom, not a girl's, a women's bathroom. Shout out for your ambition. Number two, then there's a young girl that I may or may not know, as you would say, who might have stole all the alcohol in her parents' house and took the family golf cart for a joyride some 4 hours away from her fucking house until the damn thing died. She's 11. So, I mean,
Hey, these sound like Jersey stories. These sound.
Oh, no. That's, look, the best part, neither one of those children are in Jersey.
This is not it. Those
Neither one of them.
Those are Jersey tales.
No, those are just children tales. Like, you'll learn, man. Did you get, I think everybody learns, and I hate to say it like I'm some sage dropping wisdom, because it's not like that, but the longer you have kids, man, the longer they're around, what you think you very quickly learn that it may not necessarily be right. At least that's the way I feel. And a lot of times I really, I do, when I go home, my mom and dad are not huggy, kissy, ooh, Ralph, I miss you, come snuggle up under me. That ain't my mom and dad, like, by no stretch of the imaginations. But every time I go home, just for whatever reason, I just run up and give them a hug, or I jump on their shoulders and squeeze them. I either say thank you or I'm sorry, because thank you because you're my parents and you did a decent job. I'm sorry because I was a real asshole. I was a real shit when I was a kid. Even though I was a goody two shoes, I was still a shit. And I didn't necessarily understand why my mom and dad would talk to me a certain way, why they would do certain things. And it would seem like it would happen over and over and over again until one day a light came on. And it was like, man, you know what? I really don't have to do it this way. And, and things change. You become an adult. You get older. You learn how to better handle. You learn how to better handle a situation instead of possibly reacting emotionally all the time.
I think that's because I think that's where I have like somewhat of an advantage, because I'm older, having kids, so I have like the patience and a little bit of the wisdom of 40 plus years. You know what I mean? To like go into the parenting, whereas if you're parenting from your 20s or so, you're a little bit more. It's a little bit more impatience, and you have a little bit less patience for their growth. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still growing.
At times, yeah, I could agree with that. I would also say that again, I love your confidence. I think that I don't know. My daughter I was late 30s when Jay came around, and definitely post 40 when my son was born. At no time did I believe that my age and my experience were going to help me in parenting.
Really?
I mean, like, man, for real, like, bro, like, I begrudgingly admit that for a long time I've been very responsible, but that's just not what I enjoy doing. And I was just talking about this shit with her. I remember the first time my daughter gave me a Father's Day card, and my reaction was, "Holy shit, I'm a father!" Like, it wasn't like, "Oh, that's so sweet." It was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I'm getting the cards and the ties and the weird fish that you hang on the wall that talk. Like, I'm a father. Like, holy fuck! Like, oh shit! Like, okay. And like, to try and walk that balancing line between just being, Ralph the adult that I've been by myself for the last, 4 decades, to now there's this little motherfucker looking at me, and depending on what I do or how I say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna influence them. And for the longest, man, I wasn't really joking when I said on stage, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be a parent. Like, I enjoy it. I love both my kids. I love raising them. I love being at home with them. I love going out to their games. I love all their, things that they think are stupid and embarrassing. I enjoy all that shit. But I also enjoy it from more of a childlike place than an adult-like place. Like, I'm also like, oh, we're going to the football game? Yeah. Like, you know, like, it's just the
Right.
childlike side of me is very much alive. But, you know, I got gray in my beard. I can't say his hair that's missing. It's just well covered up. It's just, you know, I had dreads down to the middle of my back, man. Like, you know, it's so, it's definitely, I feel like parenting is definitely an adventure. I feel like it has been a hell of a fun ride, and I enjoy doing it. And I know that it's not one that's going to end anytime soon, which is also a hell of a lot of fun. But I think the best part of parenting, to be really honest, is the unknown. It's the entropy of it all. It's the you think you're putting these seeds in there, you think that you're putting these thoughts in there, and where do they really come out? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much of that shit did you tell your kid that really goes in one ear and out the other? And then how much of that shit did you tell your kid really sticks?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because I'd see whenever I'm trying to impart something on them, it seems like there's no connection there. Like, he doesn't get it at all.
Ain't
But
your
then
baby like,
within
ain't your
like
baby a
2 or 3
baby?
days or like a week later, he's doing the thing that I told him or whatever. Which is always
How old
like,
is your boy? How old is your boy?
he's 2.5. He's like about to be 3 in July.
He don't even smell funny yet. Look, Ralph.
Nah, this dude, listen, this dude is definitely very understanding of his small little 2-year-old world that he, you know what I mean, which is just like our house and everything. But he definitely understands like within that world that he has access to, he understands like how to maneuver it and how to operate it, which is like which is wild. And you're sitting there and you're like not believing it. And I'm like,
No,
nah,
no, 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 no,
he's
no, 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 no,
on
no.
it, bro.
No. That's not it. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. No, please don't take it that way. That was not it at all. That was because I just got a text message on my fucking phone that says school is fucking closed tomorrow.
See, you should be
I
happy
hate.
you get a snow day. You get to hang out with them all day tomorrow.
Okay, look, I love my kids and everything home, but like for real, they're 11 and 17 and shit. Go to fuck to school. All right, like I don't need you being home. That's Friday. That's my day. You know what I'm saying?
17 is almost done with school anyway. They're about to be
Oh, dude,
going to work.
I don't even. She barely goes to fucking school. Like she goes to school from like fucking what 7:15 to like 10:40 something on one day, and then the
Yeah.
next day she's out by like 12:15. I don't even know why she goes to school. They had the nerve to send her at school on a half day, which I think is stupid because she already goes on a half day. Why even send her? Like, just I don't understand. Like, yeah, no, go to fuck to school. All right, walk through the snow and the ice, trudge a bit, but fuck. So that means damn. That changes my whole day. That's what that look was. That changes my whole day. Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah, Jesus. And
But
it's not that let
but
me be very clear. It's not that I don't believe you.
mhm.
As my wife would say. Let me be very clear. I have learned that parenting is like marijuana. It affects everybody differently. Okay. Like nobody has the exact same experiences raising their kids. And I guess even in the beginning of this, like when I'm disagreeing with you, what I'm saying is not my experience. I'm not saying that it will be yours.
Mhm.
I'm definitely saying that there are situations where, as a parent, I really kind of thought that I'd be able to work this shit out. Like I'm like, okay, well, I was pretty smart as a kid, like studying or applying for colleges and all that kind of shit. Man, it is night and day different. Do you know how many months I stayed up writing college essays, stayed up proofing college essays, handwriting the fucking applications, bro? These fuckers have an app that applies like you apply once and it hits like 200 schools.
Yeah.
What? What? It was twice where I jumped at my daughter. Like I literally jumped at my daughter. Like, yo, I ain't seen you write a college essay the first. Where the fuck is your college essays? How come you ain't done your college shit? You talk about going to college. I was in her ass. And then she comes downstairs and shows me the app. And she goes, here, daddy, here's version 1 of my essay. Here's version 2 of my essay. Here's version 3 of my essay. Here are the 14 to 15 colleges I've already applied to. Here are the 30 colleges that are waiting for me to apply that don't need my SAT score. Here's are the other 40 schools that I plan on. Well, what about application fees? No, we don't have to do that anymore. So you mean you could just apply to school for free as long as you use the app? Yeah.
Yeah, and why not? That makes a
What?
lot of sense. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, it sounds like you were incorrect in how you jumped on your daughter.
Oh, it's absolutely wrong. Oh, absolutely wrong. I have no problem. I went back and apologized for her. I felt like a total asshole. I felt like a dick. But I would, like I told her, the last time I applied for college, it was well over 30 fucking years ago. So I didn't really think about the process changing. I've always thought that the way that people were going to school was going to be the way. My mom and dad had to write an essay and handwrite their applications. My incorrect assumption was that she would have to do the same.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, I am of the Bruce Lee philosophy, be like water. You know what I mean? So I think, my wife probably does not enjoy this way of parenting with my son, but I kind of just guide him as opposed to try to structure and control which way he's going. So I give him like, a large area to do with what he will, you know what I'm saying? But if you drop and break a toy, hey, you drop and broke it. That's it. That was your area to that. Sorry, daddy, I don't know what did you want daddy to do. But while you're in that area, you do your thing, and then the consequences, I'll let them fall on you. Now, if you're going outside of that, that's daddy. Daddy shouldn't let you out of that. Daddy should not let you get outside of that area to hurt yourself outside of that area. And I will, put the guardrails up, but then make sure that you're safe within those guardrails or whatever. And I say that to say, because like what you're doing, it's like, hey, if you want to go to school, like, hey, here's the thing. I'm not going to police or do whatever. Here's the big swimming pool. You go whichever way you want, and wherever you land is where you land or whatever, which I feel like is kind of a new age way of thinking. And guess what? We're going to find out when he's 17, if we'll be revisiting this conversation, and I'll be like, hey, Ralph, that was all wrong. That was not the way to go about it.
I think all the time about the way that I don't know. I'm very proud. I don't know. I have no idea what my children would say, but I'm very proud of the relationship that I think I have with both of my kids. They still tell me things when they're thinking about doing something stupid. And I mean really stupid, but at least they come to me now. And if anything, that's been the one thing that I'm happy about. Like my wife and I have been telling my kids, there's one basic rule with us, and you'll never go wrong. Just don't lie to me.
Right.
That's it. Just don't lie to me. I don't really give a fuck what you do. I don't. That is your life, and I get it. But if you want me as your parent to help you get through this life, don't lie to me. And as long as you don't lie to me, and I've told my children both, I don't really care how fucking extreme it is. You get somebody pregnant, you smoking crack, whatever the fuck it might be, talk to me so that we can figure this shit out together instead of taking yourself and going down some weird wormhole and getting stuck there. Because I find nowadays, for some reason now, if somebody has a bad thought about a situation or people, instead of discussing said bad thought or idea about people, I find that a lot more people go inside. You know what I'm saying? Just pull it in. And sometimes with conspiracy theories or ideas, like everybody's out to get me, if you sleep on that, if you hold that, it just gets worse. And sometimes it may not be that. Sometimes it may be. But I argue that most times, most people aren't looking for ways to screw everybody over. They're just looking for ways, you know what I'm saying, to make it day to day, to be real. But there's some people that think everybody that's out there is out to fucking get them.
Listen,
And it's just not the case.
I used to think that it was a coincidence too until they started raising my Verizon bills, and I'm like, yo, this has got to be coordinated. These the way that they're raising and putting subscriptions on everything, this has got to be coordinated. Somehow, some way, they got to be in cahoots.
I'm gonna tell you, my Saturday Night Live Jack Handy deep moment came today when I saw a whole article talking about how these new millennial kids are posting videos when they get riffed from a job. Bruh. Bruh. Do you know what would happen if I'd have posted a video of me getting riffed from a job? I'm never getting another fucking job. Not in my generation. You get riffed, you just shut the fuck up and keep it moving. But but that's the difference. I think, that's really what we're saying, like 17 years from now. Like we're seeing it now. Like the way that we even were socially taught to work in the corporate world, period, ain't the same.
Not
These
at
little
all.
millennial kids go in there and they don't give a fuck. Like, I was a rebel when I went in there and said, hey, this ain't in my contract. I need y'all to do something about it. I was labeled angry. Man,
Now you would have been justified. You grew
I'd
up
have
in
been
the wrong time,
justified
bro.
as shit, right? Yeah, I was just
People would have
being honest.
advocated for you to get that raise.
What? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'd have came now, everybody would have accepted my pro-black talk ass. They'd have loved that shit. But back then, I was considered a threat. Like, why are you always concerned about black people? I don't know. I'm black. You know, that wasn't necessarily acceptable. But nowadays, man, you know, like and I must say, in a certain respect, I think it's better.
Right.
There are certain things that from an old fuddy-duddy, stodgy ass motherfucker kind of point, I'm always going to, like, you know, I wish people still had house phones. I wish people still knew how to be formal and cordial to each other, and we were teaching that in the streets versus, you know,
100% agree. 100%
bumping into
agree.
somebody and you know not being able to say excuse me and shit.
Here's what's crazy though. I totally agree with that. And I do agree with what you said before, which is I think it's better in the fact that now all these bigger entities that hold the purse strings, they can't hide on the fact that nobody else knew what they were doing to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's where all that anonymity of what they were doing to other people, they can't hide behind that. Now you got to be up front and, you know what I'm saying, real and forthright with how you're treating people.
Or you have to be the shadiest motherfucker ever. Because, like, at this point, there's no extreme anymore. Like, there's a story up here in New York that I've been fascinated with. It's a guy who was an accountant, lived with his wife and 2 kids in upstate New York. A dog was at a beach and uncovered a body. Then they went to the damn sand and uncovered 4 more bodies. Then they used DNA shit to not only figure out that this is the dude that had killed the chicks, but also figured out that this dude was killing his daughter's college friends.
Wait, did his daughter suspect anything when a lot of her friends were going missing?
I've been asking that shit for 3 weeks. Like, how the fuck? Like, oh, well, you know, there was Jenny and then there was Beth. Oh, can't forget about Meredith. And what happened to him? I don't know. My dad went on a walk with her and never came back. You know,
so weird.
I don't know. It was so weird. I think my dad's a sugar daddy and he sent them to Bangladesh. I don't know. Like, what the fuck? But
I'm gonna have to read that story. That sounds insane.
Well, again, the insanity of most of the stories of the day now is that's I guess that's what it is. Like, we grew up in the era where they would say shit like, today in Springfield, Illinois, a 53-year-old man found 8 bodies in the basement. His neighbor said he was a quiet man. You know what I mean? Like, that was in comparison to now. Nobody knew jack shit about accountant dude.
Right.
Nobody knew jack shit. He was just such a quiet man. We only saw him with his kids. This nigga murdered 4 people.
Crazy. That's a crazy amount
but nobody suspected it. Like, nobody was like, oh, word? Like, he did what? Oh, like that's the world we live in now, where it's like, if you're gonna do some shady shit, be all the way shady. Don't be halfway shady. You better be really shady, like all the way shady, bro. Like, it's too easy to do shit nowadays. Now think about it. Like, I think I said this shit on stage. In fact, I know I did, but it's the truth. Like, I definitely tell my kids, like, it's so easy for y'all to be nasty. Like, it's so easy for y'all to be nasty. I remember having to, like, put Richard Pryor tapes, like, in a tape player and then run a string, right? Like the headphone cord, like, behind the wall, behind my nightstand, and up through the headboard and put it under my pillow, right? So my parents would see the radio on one side of the room, but wouldn't see the headphone string on the other side of the room, so I could listen to the shit under my pillow. Like, that's the generation I grew up in. Like, you know, you didn't play 2 Live Crew out loud. You knew who they were. Right. You know what I'm saying? You didn't play NWA out loud. I remember when it came out. But, like, you know, the shit was dope, but it was dope because you had to listen to it kind of like with these headphones on, so nobody could hear the violent, misogynistic, horrible lyrics that you were listening to.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my first introduction to rap was I found my dad's Too Short tapes, And it changed my world because I was like, I don't know, 10, 11. And then now I'm like,
Look,
blowjob Betty coming straight from Oakland. I was like, what?
bro,
What is
I'm gonna tell you that most kids my age were enamored with Playboy and Blacktail, Jugs. These were the magazines at the time. Any magazine that was in 7-Eleven out behind the wood panel that had the black plastic clear sleeve on it and shit. That was my world. That's what everybody else that I knew was into. I'm the only kid that was reading Penthouse Forum because I found the stories more erotic than the motherfucking pictures.
Now imagine your introduction is somebody telling you those stories, listen, getting it auditorily, and that's what Too Short was.
I respect that. I get that. I get that. I get that.
He
I
was
get that.
Penthouse auditorily. I was like, oh damn,
I get that. I support that. And
changed
he
my
was.
whole world. And I think actually that was probably the summer that I did like start looking at porn with the neighborhood girls. That's that
I
listen,
remember.
I grew up real quick that summer.
I remember sitting down with a girl. We were 14. We were in Seoul, Korea, and we sat down and listened to the Great Adventures of Slick Rick, and we thought that we were getting away with everything. We thought that we were just so slick because, like, if you go back and you listen to that first Slick Rick album, like, he's got some songs on there where Slick was not really playing around. Like, of course, there's Teenage Love and Mona Lisa, you know, but then there's also songs like Indian Girl, where at the end of the song is like he opened up her pussy with his thumbs and saw crabs with spears and Indian drums saying, "Hey, I." Like that was like, you know, there were songs back then where, like, you know,
let me use my thumbs and see what I see.
stop, take it easy, baby.
Oh man. Yo, question for you. All right, because you were producing Roy Wood Jr.'s podcast, Job Fair and whatnot, and because of that, it was an amazing podcast. I wanted to ask you, how are we doing as a podcast? How are we doing in terms of production with your professional expertise? How are we doing?
Production wise, you got it great. I like the intro scene more so than anything else. The little intro of the black dude jumping all over the computers and 8-bit makes me very happy. And then you had some banging ass intro music there. I didn't know what it was, but it came in very heavy. And I found myself looking around like, what the fuck just happened?
Yo, I was rhyming to that. The last few episodes, I had like a little freestyle to it. And I'll tell you what, not 100% of the time am I in the pocket, but there was a good percentage. I'll say about 30 to 40%. I was in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? I
like the fact that you use baseball percentages to show how difficult it is to be in the pocket. I support that.
Hey, listen, man.
Some
people don't recognize when they out of pocket, but I recognize. I'm like, okay, I'm in the pocket right here. I'm a little bit out, but let me get back in. You know,
I like the fact that somewhere between 60 and 30% of 60 and 70% of the time, you know that you're out of the pocket. That is top notch.
A large percentage was out of pocket, but there's that small percentage where I was in the pocket where I'm like, listen, if I went for this, I might be able to.
I might be able to lay this shit out. I support that. Yeah,
but also, if I was in my 20s, I would be like immaculate with it. Now that when you're in your 40s, you got to be incredibly dope and in the pocket, probably 105% of the time. When you're in your 20s, like all these mumble rappers, you could be way out of pocket. When you're in your 40s, you just got to be immaculate with it. That's my.
I think you're correct, and I would go as far as to use an example. You hip to this dude named Gorilla Nims?
I've heard that name.
All right, Gorilla Nims. I can't even gauge how hot or unhot people are in the streets anymore because we stream everything. But I fucks with dude. He's got a song called "Don't Ever Disrespect Me." I would tell anybody that the verse of the year last year wasn't Michael Render and Andre 3000 on Engineers and Scientists, even though it was a very, very good track. No, the verse of the year belongs to Ghostface on "Don't Ever Disrespect."
Nice.
That is just, it is classic, just hip hop, just Ghostface, just you feel like you want to throw a chair through something midway through the verse because how good Ghost is just killing you and shit. But I'm at a stage in my life where all of my favorite rappers, period, if I had a top 10 of rappers, just about all of them over the age of 40.
Yeah.
Just about all of them are over the age of 40. Like even the newer guys, whether it's like Benny
Butcher.
Benny the Butcher or Conway the Machine. I think Rome Streets is the youngest out of them cats, and he's in his mid-30s. But like those are the I'd much rather I like dudes that can fucking rhyme. Like,
you know what I've been listening to recently?
mm,
Coast Contra.
I mess with Coast Contra. Them boys go hard.
They go hard, and I think
I
that
mess with
they
them.
have very much they have a storytelling aspect to what they're doing, as well as have a point of view and a perspective. And when there is a topic of the song, they rap to that topic, which I feel like is like I don't understand how we have gotten so far away from that. You know what I mean? Like
I like how they rap to the topic. And I also love the fact that they got a couple of dudes in there who hit you off with the bilingual shit like it ain't nothing.
it ain't nothing. Just
Like
smooth and
just
slick with it.
smooth flips with it. I like them. I tell you another cat that I'm fucking with out on the West Coast, La Russell. I don't know if you fucking with La Russell, man. La Russell is on some cool shit.
I think I heard his freestyle before, and it was
he's a
was
sharp
he
young brother.
on 5 Fingers of Death or
He might be. I don't know. I know that he does a lot of shows from his backyard. I know that he is really about doing business in hip hop. I think the kid is sharp. I like the kid a lot. I love his energy. I like the way he goes about his thing.
Have you heard about Simba? Have you heard the real Simba?
Yeah, Simba. I remember when he first came out, Simba and Drake dropped around the same time. And I would say that I like Simba definitely more than I like Drake. That's very I don't like Drake. I like Drake less than I like the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
I don't like Drake at all.
All right,
I don't like Drake.
I
kind of like the Eagles.
Honey, we can cut this part out if you if you can mark it at the 120 mark that he talked shit about the Eagles that needs to be bleeped out, or we can dub it over with his face moving and words that are more kind.
Just out of sync,
out of sync. Just I love the Philadelphia Eagles.
I've always loved that Eagles.
Rap is something else. Yo, okay. We've done a lot of talking here, but we got to get out of here by talking about what do you like to nerd out about, Mr. Ralph Cooper? If there's something that you like to nerd out about, what is it?
Well, okay. First of all, was it you? In fact, I'm almost positive it was you who told me about The Creator. The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Wasn't it you that told me about The Creator? I'm pretty sure it was you.
Yes.
Props for that. I don't give a fuck if anybody says I thought this shit was fucking dope. I really did. Shout out to black men falling in love with half computer women. That's the future. You know what I'm saying? We can't date. You know what I'm saying? Like some of us, we just can't do it in the future the way we've been doing it. It's bananas. I like that movie. And currently, two things I'm currently nerding out on. One of them is definitely Call of Duty Zombies. I don't care what anybody really says. Modern Warfare Zombies is fucking awesome. And I love the fact that the community is hella nice.
Are they really?
Hella nice.
That's
Call
shocking.
of War Zombies is the nicest game you'll ever play. Meaning that you ain't never played before and you'll jump in the game with somebody whose rank is hella high and they'll just give you money. They'll give you the schematics. They'll just give you all the stuff for the game and they'll show you how to play it without being a dick about it. Like shout out to all of the Modern Warfare Zombies people. The main reason I play it is because I get a bigger kick out of jumping in the game and dropping like $100,000 on some kid, you know what I'm saying, who's never played it before, so they can run off and get all the cool shit in the game without taking all the time to build it up.
Listen, nothing brings us together like a zombie apocalypse.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? One day is coming and I'm going to be fucking prepared.
We're all trying to survive.
Y'all going to make it. What's the other thing?
You said there's
the other thing that I've been nerding out on, to be real, I don't think I've watched more streamable television in my life than I have in the last 6 to 9 months. I don't know if it's because the job fair is not doing the job fair no more or what, but man, I
missed that. I'm gonna miss the job fair. That was great.
I enjoyed
get on there and rap real quick about the job fair, but that's
60%. Well, I mean, I want to be sad, but Roy Wood Jr. has been being Roy Wood Jr. all over the place, and I'm hella proud and happy for that dude. Like he's been killing it. He got to steal an Oscar trophy, an Emmy trophy the other night I know he stole that shit. Like I know that they gave it to Trevor.
Hey, listen, don't be.
But
Listen,
I
if he
know.
did, he's supposed to have it. I ain't dealing with it.
I ain't confirming or denying. Yeah, he sucker punched Trevor Noah and ran. But that's what I heard.
I ain't hear none of that. Hey, however you got that trophy, it was well deserved.
Hey, look, and I don't know if you peeped it or caught it. When the Daily Show, when they're all casted up on stage, and Trevor Noah is making that exceptionally wonderful and brilliant speech that he made, accepting the Daily Show trophy on behalf of the Daily Show, Roy is in the background going, "Hire somebody."
They don't want to hire anyone.
That much I definitely can't speak on. I have no clue. That situation is harder to explain than people in the Midwest still voting for Trump.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's very, very clear. It's a moment in time right now where the Daily Show is very influential in terms of how people view things in the country, and the hosts that they want to have a certain point of view, and it's probably hard to find someone who's comedic and has that point of view. You know what I mean? Because when you're in comedy, you have to look at things truthfully, and the truth is kind of hard to come by nowadays. That would be my take on the situation.
I apologize. I've now just found out that both of my children's school is canceled in the morning.
I feel like every time I hit you with a PR statement, you get upset and you say school's canceled. I feel like that's going to be our new.
You don't know how upset I am. You don't
want to listen to what I'm saying. You're like, school's canceled.
School's canceled. Fucking school's canceled. Again, I think your PR spin is very good, and I also don't disagree with you. I can't necessarily say that comedy is about telling the truth anymore. Matter of fact, Roy said some shit like comedy used to be about telling the truth. Now it's more like the truth as far as your crowd will accept the premise.
That I think is 100% accurate. But I didn't say telling the truth. I said seeing the truth.
Seeing the truth.
Like if you're you see the truth, regardless of what you say on stage, you have to see the truth of the situation, I think, to make it funny. Because if you don't, your premise will be off.
A truth in the situation. I agree. Yeah. I agree.
So I think that's I thought Roy should get it because he is and I'll say this in the most PR way that I could say, and you can translate for me. He is the most authentic American coming from our point of view that would have ever been on the Daily Show, and it's something that has long been underrepresented in our country and in the news.
Yes. I'll let you keep that one. Yes.
And I'll go less PR. We need a nigga host. We need a nigga to give nigga news and give it in a way that niggas can understand. That's
not only can he give it in nigga ways, but in the truest nigga form, he can code switch and tell every white person out there what they need to know correctly about the story.
You've never had someone on the news speak nigganese, and I feel
never once.
I feel like
we're talking to you, Lester Holt. We're talking to you, Lester Holt. All right, Lester Holt. I know you hear me, Lester Holt. I'm gonna need you to take a stick out your ass and drop a bro him or a nigga. Not hard ER, my man. I'm gonna need a nigga from you. All right, just one. Talk to Obama. I don't care. I'm talking to you, Lester Holt.
That might be what it is, bro. But listen, we've been on here for an hour and a half, and I like the boys point them out. We've been on here for an hour and a half, and we can keep talking for more and more hours because you know how we usually do, and it could usually go all over the place. And we'll probably talk offline for a little bit, but we've been talking for a minute. We've ran the gamut. We talked about some hip hop. We really got into hip hop. Talking about raising these kids, what they've been getting into, and how to raise them up.
Did we talk about being married to super dope ass women?
We did not do that.
Having incredibly dope and hot women in our pocket, you know what I'm saying, who are brilliant and are so much more dope beyond, whatever physical attributes that, we might totally enjoy.
Their beauty is not just their beauty. Their beauty is in their, so much deeper. Their spirit and their ability,
like their hair sometimes,
and their effervescence and all of that stuff. Yeah, we did not discuss that, but we did just discuss it now.
Yeah, so shout out to a dope wife, by the way.
Thank you. and dope wife and producer extraordinaire. So I
got
guess
gray
now,
hair. She's got gray hair. I'm sorry.
Shut up, nigga. Let me close the show. All right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything left for us to say but blur that out.